3.
Good morning, good afternoon, depending on when you're watching this, and welcome to PE at Home with LSC. My name's Andy, and in today's lesson we're going to look at athletics and the jumping side of athletics. By the end of this lesson, you should have figured out how to jump further, use decision making on how you're going to do that, and shown some sort of resilience, and by resilience I mean shown determination to keep yourself jumping and keep going. Equipment we're going to need for this, depending on what you have at home. I used markers to mark out my area. You can use anything. You could use cushions. That's dependent on what you've got available to you. You need a scoring system. Again, I used the mini dots. That could be you using the same. You could have pencils going into a pot or socks or anything to keep tabs on your score. I hope you've enjoyed today's lesson, and we'll go from there. Have some fun. Okay, good morning, Tom. How are we doing?
Good morning.
Are we okay? What we're going to work on today, Tom, is athletics. Our focus is jumping and building resilience. We're going to warm up first. We're going to check that our body is warmed up and our heart is beating faster and all that blood is pumping around the body. So before we start it, just test your heart rate, and we'll do another little test after and see how quick we can get that beating. So first part of the warm-up, Tom, we're going to go quite basic and we're going to work on jumping in the warm-up. I'm going to go one-legged as the grown-up, so I'm going to sit down, pop my one leg out, and what I want you to do, Tom, is count how many times you can jump back and forth clearing my one leg, okay? And as the grown-up, I'll probably time around 20 to 30 seconds, something like that. So whenever you're ready, Tom, off you go. Okay. Keep going, that's it. A little bit faster. You want to elevate that heart rate, so speed it up.
10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
And stop there. Perfect. Right, Tom, that's part one of our warm-up. Part two, I'd like you to come up with a way of challenging the jump. How can you make it harder? How can you make it further? So can you have a little think about that, okay? Right, children at home, I want you to come up with a way in this warm-up of making it more challenging, and can you come up with a bigger way of jumping, increasing that distance? Okay, Tom, so during that warm-up then, we asked you to come up with a more challenging way of increasing the jump, increasing the distance in the jump. So did you have a little think about how to make that harder for yourself?
Yeah, so I thought if you had both of your legs out and you could even put them slightly apart, that makes the jump much harder for me because I've got to jump much further and probably a bit higher as well.
Fantastic. So even two ways of doing it there. So we'll have a go at that, Tom, and see how you get on. So I need to sit down and I need to position my legs a little bit wider, okay? So you're going to go further back to increase that jump. When you're ready, Tom, give that a go. One more for me, Tom.
8.
And stop there. Fantastic. Right, Tom, so as you were doing that and I was looking, I could have perhaps widened my legs to make it even harder for you, so that's another way of doing it. You were quite comfortable with the jumping. So what I want you to have a think about doing now is challenging yourself with how you're going to jump again. Come up with a creative way of jumping that's a little bit further. Is that okay for you?
Okay,
Yeah? So, children at home, what I want you to do as well, the jump we've just done, I want you to challenge yourself with a new way of jumping over your grown-up's legs. Okay, Tom, so we spoke there about you kind of challenging yourself with this jump. Can you let me know what your thoughts were and what we're going to do next with this jump?
So I found it much harder last time. I was having to jump further.
Okay.
And this time I thought rather than jumping even further, I might try and jump a bit higher. So maybe you can lift your legs slightly off the ground and have to jump higher this time.
Okay, so we're working on height now in our jumps in the warm-up. Okay, let's have a go at that, Tom. So I'm going to go for a safe height first to see how you get on. I'm not going to lift my legs too high. I am going to go two-legged, so I'm going to support myself and I'm going to lift my legs up like that. Do you want to have a go?
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Perfect. Just stop there, Tom. So I can see it is comfortable enough for you to do, so I still want to challenge you further, but I need it to be safe for me as well. It's quite hard as the grown-up to keep my body weight up there. So I'm going to go one-legged. I'm not going to go too high that it's unsafe, but I'm going to support my leg by putting my hand under my knee like that and putting my hand back here. So now repeat the same jump, Tom, but obviously the height has increased, hasn't it? So if we think about technique-wise here, for you to go higher, you're going to need to bend those knees.
Okay.
Is that okay? Do you want to give that a whirl?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Keep going. Good. Bend those knees.
8, 9, 10.
Super. And stop there, Tom. How do we feel now?
Much warmer.
Good. We're nice and warm, so we've had a look at increasing the distance and the height in our jumps. Great work. Children at home, can you have a go at increasing your distance in your jumps and look at the height of your jumps too? Okay, Tom, hope we're nice and warmed up and ready to go. We're going to do a game here and work on some technique work on our jumping. I'm going to show you a demonstration and then let you have a go and have a chat through it. So if you turn and watch our red lane here, what we've got set up, I'm going to give you one marker each time. And the idea is to practice your jump. So I'm going to show you, I hold one marker in my hand, I'm going to jump as far as I can. So once I've jumped, I'll pop the marker down at my heel. I want you to have a go at this, Tom. And what I want you to start thinking about is how you can increase the distance on your jump. I don't want you to tell me yet, I just want you to have a go. You've got 3 attempts there, so I want you to do 2 of them.
Okay.
Good jump, Tom, keep going. Super. So, Tom, if you can have a think about how you're going to increase your next jump and the distance on that. Children at home, if you could stop there and also have a think about your technique and how you can make your jump further. Okay, Tom, so we've had a go at those jumps and I've let you have a think and come up with a way of what we're going to do next with those jumps. Can you tell us what you thought of it?
So I thought maybe to jump as far as I can or further than I have been, I'm going to bend my knees a bit more and try and get a bit more power. And I think I'm going to try and swing my arms as well, almost to push myself forwards.
Perfect. So we're working here, aren't we, on before to get ourselves further. So you come up with bending your knees and did you say using your arms
Yeah,
to
I'm
get
going to
further?
try and swing my arms whilst I jump.
Brilliant. So let's have a go at this and let's see how we get on. So take a mark and let's see. So as you said, talk yourself through it as you're doing it.
So I'm going to try and bend my knees. And
Perfect.
jump.
Fantastic. Let's see if we can beat that jump next.
Whoa.
Really good. Super. We're going to do another 3 goes, Tom. What I like to think of myself as, if I'm doing a jump before and thinking about those points, if you imagine yourself like an elastic band, when you pull an elastic band and you let go, it fires off, because that's the before action, isn't it? As you said, your arms swinging through, you're bending your knees. So kind of create that picture in your mind that you're an elastic band and you're pulling your body and you're going to spring up through it. So have another couple of goes and let's see if we get any further. So we're roughly around the middle mark. Let's see, thinking of ourselves in that way with those pointers you came up with, if we get further. Much better. So the distance has increased. Well done. Great jump. Let's have a look at the technique there. Super. One more. Excellent. Right, what I want you to think about next, Tom, is we've looked at there the before part of the jump. It's what happens during the jump. That's what I want you to focus on next. So have a little think about that. Children at home, if you could do the same. We've had a talk and had a go and thought about what we do before a jump to get ourselves further. It's now what we do during the jump. That's what I want us to focus on. Okay, Tom, so what we were speaking about before and what we were doing is before the jump. And you come up with ways of bending your knees and swinging your arms, and that was fantastic. I then asked you to have a look at what happens during the jump. Before we go into during the jump, just tell us why you come up with those actions in your jump?
So I thought if I bend my knees, I'm going to have more power in my jump. I'm using my muscles more and I'm going to be able to get further. And then I thought if I swing my arms, it's going to push my whole body forwards.
Super, some really good ideas there and some great thinking behind your technique. So what about during the jump? Did you come up with anything we can do during the jump? What do you think?
I'm not sure really. I was just thinking to try and jump as far as I can, but I'm not sure what to think about in the middle of the jump, to be honest.
Perfect. So what we'll do there, Tom, that's perfect time then for me to do a demonstration. I'm going to use your points that you gave me, which was bending my knees, swinging my arms and thinking of myself as that elastic band. Now, watch where my feet go to where I end up. So I'm thinking about getting myself into position. I'm going to jump as far as I can. My knees are bent. I'm going to jump through the air. Now, when I jump then, Tom, in my demonstration, were my feet behind me or in front?
In front, your feet went forwards.
And why do you think I did that?
Because if your feet are going forwards, you're going to land further.
Perfect, that's it. So what I want you to do, Tom, is have a little think about that for me to make it a little bit more fun for you, because what we're working on really, isn't it, is the distance of the jump and getting as far as we can. I'm going to put some sharks in the water here. So I've got 4 sharks, and what I want you to do each time is see if you can jump over them sharks, and I might increase the distance. Is that okay? So have a little talk through your head about those techniques and let's have a look at it. So it's before and during here, isn't it?
So I'm going to bend my knees and I'm going to swing my arms over the sharks. Okay.
Superb, Tom. Have another go and see if we can push those feet out a little bit further.
Okay, push my feet.
Over the sharks. Good. Now that's 2 great big jumps, so I'm going to push the sharks a little bit further.
Oh, no.
And these are big sharks, they're hungry, they want the dinner. So make sure they don't bite your toes, Tom.
Hope they don't. That was a big jump, so.
Super. So what I want you to think about next, if you get yourself back into position with your 3 markers. So we've talked about there before, in and during. And we're all right, we're rocking and rolling with that. It's now after. What happens after you jump? What do you think, Tom?
I need to land, but I need to land and not fall over, because I don't want to land and fall backwards into the sharks.
Super. So what do you think our knees could potentially do when we land?
Try to bend my knees again, because it's easier not to fall over with my knees bent and stood up like this.
So you're going to land with your knees bent?
Yeah.
All right, let's have a go at that, Tom. Super, good. Second go. Knees bent, arms swung, feet out in front, and nice bent knees when you land. One more go. Avoid those sharks, those hungry sharks. Wow, look at that. Fantastic jumps. Well done, Tom. Okay, children at home, so I want you to think about there before, during and after. Also, children at home, have as many goes as you want at that, and then come back to us. Okay, Tom, so what we're going to work on next is a little bit of a competition. We're going to put our jumping technique, thinking about before, during and after, that's what we spoke about and what we worked on, into a competition against each other, so me versus you, child versus grown-up. I'll show you a demonstration of the jumping technique in the game, and then we'll have a go at it. So, if I go first in the demonstration, we're talking and thinking about the pointers, what we did before, because that's important, isn't it? And all we do, Tom, is we're going to try and jump for points here. Each point is worth a different thing, so a little bit of cross-curricular, a bit of adding, a little bit of maths in it now. We've got here, Tom, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 markers. Maximum points are 5. Each small marker in the middle depends on how many points you get. So if we hit, for example, the yellow one, which is 2 points, take 2 markers and we put in our allocated hoop. You're yellow and I'm red. That's okay. So I'll have a little demo. I'll think about the technique and my feet. I'm going to jump. My heels landed, because that's where we're aiming for, on the yellow, which is actually 2, and I'm red. So I'll take 2 markers from here, Tom, pop them down in there, and then it's your go and you try and beat my score. Does that sound okay?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, we're ready for this then? So, whenever you're ready, Tom, you go first, buddy. Super.
I think
So
3.
3, so 3 points. And I'll go first, so it's a nice quick tempo. We don't want to waste too much time. Defo beating you there, Tom. 4 points for me. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, getting competitive. 5 points. Oh, 4, okay.
I think only 4.
Right, what you are?
3.
4 again. 5, great jump.
2, 3, 4.
4. Need to get more distance, don't I? Last go for you, Tom, and then we'll add these points up.
4.
Right, Tom, if you could add up what you've got there, and we'll reveal who's won. What did you get, Tom?
I've got 16.
Oh, and I've got 12. So that's a win for you, Tom, on jumping. Give me a high five. Great work. So, Tom, during that jumping session, can you tell me what you learned from it, please?
So I've learned to bend my knees to get a bit more power and more distance, and I was swinging my arms, and I think I remember we were trying to move our feet forward whilst we were jumping to get further.
Brilliant. Why was it we lifted our feet forward to get what?
More distance.
More distance, that's right. Well done. Children at home, if you could go away and have a go at those, thinking about the pointers, what me and Tom just discussed at the end there, and have some fun with that. Hi guys, and welcome back to the recap of today's lesson. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to increase your jumping distance, come up with decision making on how to do that, and show some sort of resilience and determination in your jumping technique. Please share with us any of your jumping videos on our social media. I hope you have lots of fun trying this. Take care, everybody.